Good afternoon, children. In the last class, actually, we were discussed until there the taxonomic categories, isn't it? In that one, we were discussed almost all the taxonomic categories. So, beginning from the kingdom, then after the phylum, the division, class, order, family, genus, species, with respect to the biological name. So, everything we were discussed. Today, we will continue the discussion with respect to the examples. There are few examples with respect to the organism with their taxonomic categories. So then we will continue the remaining topics. Okay, yeah. So in the last class, as we were discussed already, so what are the meaning of the all the taxonomic categories? Let us discuss the few examples which is related to the taxonomic categories. In that one, so let us take an example. If we take an example of man, okay, the common name of the man, generally what we call the modern man, the biological name is Homo sapien. Okay, the biological name is Homo sapien. In that one, the genus is Homo and the species is sapien. Okay, then the family Hominidae, order Primata, the class Mammalia, and the phylum Chordata. So this is one of the example with respect to the taxonomic categories. Okay, so then there is another example. If you take an example of the housefly, the common name of the housefly, generally you must have heard about, yeah, the housefly. Then the biological name of the housefly is Musca domestica. Okay, so in this biological name, the domestica is the species name and Musca is the genus. Okay, then the family Mucidae and the order Diptera and the class Insecta, and which is comes under the phylum Arthropoda. So these are taxonomic categories or the classification with respect to the housefly. If we take a plant example, so common name of the mango you must have heard about is, the biological name is Mangifera indica. In Mangifera indica, indica is the species name, the Mangifera is genus, the family Anacordiaceae, order Saphendiales, class that is Dicotyledonnae, and the division Angiospermae. See, remember, in case of the plants, when it comes to the category of the division, okay, what about in case of the animals? We use as phylum. In case of the plants, we use as the division. Okay, so then the last one, the wheat. Okay, wheat is the common name. Generally you must have heard about the common wheat. The biological name is Triticum aestivum. The biological name is Triticum aestivum. In this, the species is aestivum and the genus is Triticum. Okay, what about the family? Family is Poaceae, order Poales, the class Monocotyledonnae, and the division is Angiospermae. So these are all some of the examples with respect to the organism with their taxonomic categories. Okay, fine. So after this one, let us discuss one of the important topic. The next topic is the taxonomic aids. Okay, so then the question arises, what are the taxonomic aids? So these are all the, generally they are nothing but they acts like a instrumentation or the supporting materials. The supporting materials are the instrumentations. They acts as an instrumentation, or we can also say aids useful during the study of the taxonomical purpose in case of the plants. Okay, some of the taxonomical aids are Herbarium, Botanical Gardens, Zoological Parks, their common use the zoos, Museum, Biological Museum, Key, Flora, manuals, monographs, catalogs. So these are all comes under the taxonomical aids. Okay, so let us discuss one by one about the taxonomical aids. Fine. In that one, the first one is a herbarium. Okay, so how can you define the herbarium? Means herbarium is a storehouse of plant specimens that are dried, pressed and preserved on sheets. They are nothing but herbarium sheets and are arranged according to universally accepted classification. Okay, so how can you define the herbarium? Herbarium is a storehouse of plant specimens that are dried, pressed and preserved on herbarium sheets and are arranged according to universally accepted classification. Okay, then see, these herbarium sheets are labeled with the information. It is containing the must and should. Okay, the herbarium should be containing, so must and should, all this information. There is nothing but about the date and place of collection, when you collected particular plant species, and where did you collected, the place of the collection. Okay, so and it should be written in the English. Okay, all the information should be written in the standard language, that is English. Then the local and botanical names. So there are number of cases we must call those plants by now. I mean the local names may be different. Then we should mention that one also, the local names and botanical names. Okay, the standard names. And it should also having the information about the family. And finally, if it is in a university level, it must have mentioned the university name as standard herbarium sheets. And very important one, the name of the collector, one who collected that particular plant species. Okay, so here is the example, the right side, the slide they have given the model herbarium sheet. Okay, so this is how it should be. Okay, completely dried, pressed and preserved on a the herbarium sheets. Okay, and they should be arranged according to the universally accepted classification. This is about the herbarium. Okay, fine. So this is one of the important taxonomic aid. The next one is the botanical gardens. This is a very important one. Nowadays, only few institutes or the colleges, they are supporting the students to visit the botanical gardens and the botanical preserved places. Okay, see, generally if we don't provide the exposures toward all these things, the students will not learn the botany. Okay, see, why I become actually the biology student or the biology lecturer, that is because of the one of this, the taxonomic aid, the botanical gardens only. While I was studying from the PU level only, our lecturers, they used to take us for various different botanical gardens. Okay, and for the purpose of the plant collections, field trips and all. So they made us to become, we became curious about the plants, and I started learning much more about the plants, and finally I did my double degree in the botany only. Okay, my specification MSc I have did, that is botany only. So that is also one of the important. Okay, yeah, come to the topic here. The second taxonomical aid is a botanical garden. These are specialized gardens having collections of plants for reference and identification. Okay, if you want to study immediately, okay, so we will be having already a preserved form of the collections of the living plants for reference and identification. That is a live plants. Okay, and each plant is labeled with its botanical name and family. You must have visited the botanical garden, or the nearest botanical garden for us in the Bangalore, Lalbagh. If you would have observed properly, each and every plant in the Lalbagh, it is labeled with botanical name with respect to family, genus, species and common name. Okay, see, that is what it will be. It's very useful for the purpose of study of the plants. Okay, and it will give a live experience for the purpose of study. Okay, yeah, and there are some famous botanical gardens. Okay, so in the throughout the world level, you must have heard about the Royal Botanical Garden at Kew. It is located in England. Okay, And in India, the Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, it is located West Bengal. And the third one is National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow, in India. Along with even few botanical gardens, they are not mentioned in your textbooks. I told no, one of the nearest botanical garden for us, yes, in the Bangalore, the Lal Bagh, and even you must have heard about the Botanical Survey of India. It is located in Pune. Okay, so these are all the different botanical gardens which is present in India as well as throughout the world, which is very helpful to study about the plants. Okay, yeah, so these are one of the the picture which is given in the slide. The National Botanical Research Institute, it is located in Lucknow. Okay, and the next one is biological museums. Okay, so what it will be containing? See, these biological museums is a collection of preserved plants and animals for study references. Okay, it will be containing various parts or sometimes the complete structure of the plants and animals. Okay, so it may be containing the various parts, for example the remnants of the plants, okay, and the preserved plants, the seeds, okay, then particular the structures of the plant, they're nothing but even the root stems. Okay, so like that, it is a collection of preserved plants and animals. When it comes to the animals, the the bird specimens, different type of the phylum specimens beginning from the platyhelminthes. Okay, so then the arthropoda, aves, reptiles, including mammalian specimens, everything. Okay, so these are all, it is a the biological museum where they may be collected, okay, in the form of preserved forms. So that's why the biological museum is known as a collection of preserved plants and animals for study and reference. Okay, yeah. The next taxonomical aid is biological museum. This is very important. Okay, see, the museum generally what it will be containing. The normal museum will be different, but when it comes to the biological museum, so a museum contains the specimens preserved in preservative solution, just like formalin. Okay, it is used as a preservative solution in a large container or sometimes small containers or jars. Okay, a museum which contains a plant are generally here when it comes to the museum. Okay, so it is containing the specimens preserved in a both plants and animals also. Okay, so sometimes it may be in the form of the dried specimens, or sometimes they may be in the form of the the wet specimens. Okay, the dried specimens of plants and animals, so generally along with the wet specimens, the wet specimens means they are preserved in the preservative like a formalin. Okay, so in containers or jars. What about the insects? Even insects, the smaller insects, they are preserved in boxes, insect boxes, after collecting, killing and pinning. Okay, without damaging the the insects, so they will preserve. Okay, then a stuffed larger animal like birds and mammals, the digestive systems and all, it may be removed, okay, internally, and the external structure will be as it is. It look like the liveliness. So those are all will be considered as the biological museums. And a collection of animal skeletons during the paleontological studies. So those animal skeletons and all, and even the plant remnants also be preserved in the museums. Okay, so this is one of the taxonomical aid. And the next one is the very important one. This is the one of the lively the taxonomical aid, zoological parks. So these are the places where live wild animals are kept in protected environments under human care. Okay, so these the places where we can find the live animals. Okay, it helps to learn about their food habits and behavior. Okay, if you go to the zoos, if you observe keenly, then you may study about their food habits, behavioral, how they behave, and we can also study so how they interact. Okay, so these are all where we will study, where we will get a chance to study only in zoological parks. Okay, so that's why these zoological parks, they play very important role during taxonomical studies. Okay, so that's what I said. The zoological parks are the places where the live wild animals are kept in protected environment under human care. Okay, yeah, so that we will get the chance to learn about their food habits, behavioral habits. Okay, habitats also. Fine. The next one is the taxonomical aid is nothing but key. So this is one of the important one. The taxonomical aid. It is an analytical method of identification of organisms based on similarities and dissimilarities. So here we will compare the similarities and dissimilarities. Okay, for example, here only one of the example they have given the branching key. Consider you may be identified some organism, then you start studying beginning with respect to the skin, then you can identify either it is that particular organism having dry skin, yes or no. Okay, so then again it will continue. If it is having yes, then again it is having the hairs are present or not on that particular skin. Again if it is yes, the question arises, is it containing opposable thumbs or not? That is yes or no. Again, is those organisms are bipedal or tetra? So that means 2 legs or 4. If it is a bipedal, again the question arises, yes, again, is that organism can withstand, okay, that means erect structure or the bendable. So like that the branching, okay, keep branching we can identify. Okay, so this key is based on the contrasting characters, generally in a pair called couplet. Okay, remember when we call this couplet, the based on the contrasting characters, that is opposite, is it present or not? If it is present, again what is present, what is not present, like that it will continue. Okay, and each couplet has a 2 opposite options. Of these, only a relevant option is accepted and the other is rejected. Okay, and each statement in the key is called a lead. Okay, whatever the each and every statement you made during the key is called lead. Okay, so these are exactly that taxonomical aid helps us to study the various organisms based on the branching type. Okay, fine. So this is another example. Okay, with respect to the key, the beginning from, if you want to study about a particular bacteria, consider the beginning we will classify based on the staining nature. If it is stains, so again the gram positive or gram negative. Okay, again if it is positive, then again its question arises, what is the shape? Either it's a rod shape or the knot. If it is again the rod shape, then the cockeye, or that is a rod shape means the shape of the organism, the morphological structure. See, while we are studying the classification in the next chapter, I will tell you the bacteria is classified into 4 types based on the morphology. In that it will come, cockeye is nothing but the generally rounds. Okay, rod shapes, so like that it will come. So here one of the example they have given. Okay, so that's beginning with, if it is a gram positive cells, either it's a gram positive or gram negative. Then if it is the rod shape, again either if the non-rod shape, the question arises cockeye or pleomorphic. And again if it is the question arises can tolerate oxygen, cannot tolerate oxygen, then obligate or anaerobes. So like that it will continue the branching with respect to the a particular organism, so that we can study in detail about the taxonomy with respect to the particular organism. Okay, so here is the example is given. So okay, so we'll be studying about the key. And the next one is flora. Okay, so the terminology itself indicates it is an actual account of habitat and distribution of plant species of a given area. Okay, it is the actual account of habitat. Habitat means where it will be present or where it is grown. Okay, and the distribution, where are the, we can identify those particular species, the distribution of the plant species of a given area. Example, the flora of the Pan-Himalaya. So it contains a complete information of the Himalaya. So that means what are the different type of the habit and distribution of the particular plants. Okay, distribution, there is a which type of the a complete number of the species which is present in the Himalaya. That flora of the Pan-Himalaya containing the distribution of the plant species of that particular region of the Himalaya. Okay, so there is another example, manual of harmful marine algae, that is a marine microalgae. In that region, whatever that particular, the harmful marine microalgae containing complete information. Okay, so like that we will get the the actual account of habitat and distribution of the plant species of a particular given area. Okay, so that's what we call flora. And the next one is manuals. You must have heard about the biological manuals, isn't it? Or practical manuals. What it means, what it may be containing the information. Yes, the manuals are the record that contains information for identification of names of species found in an area. Okay, see, when we conduct a practical experiment in this first year or the second year, first we will provide the practical manual. Okay, so whatever it is prescribed from the PU board, so which is present the first year or the second year, we will give the manuals. So that manual containing a pre-recorded, earlier only it is recorded. Okay, the complete information about that particular plant or animal species, that information is recorded, and for the purpose of identification of the names of the species, okay, it is given everything. So like that, then it comes to the taxonomical aid, the manuals. So these manuals are the record that contain information for identification of names of a species found in an area. Okay, so these are about the manuals. Fine. Yeah. The next one is another taxonomical aid is a monograph. These are the records that contain information on any one taxon, only particular taxon. I told no, the mono means the terminology indicates these are the records that containing information about only one particular taxon. Okay, so that they can get the complete information about that one particular taxon. Okay, so that's a taxon is a singular form, isn't it? So these are all the records, complete information, okay, which containing only one particular taxon, or we can also say one particular species. Okay, so that we will easily study about all the complete vegetative, reproductive, habitat, a complete information about that particular taxon. Okay, so this is what with respect to the monographs. And there is another taxonomical aid, catalogs. It is an alphabetical list of species. See, whatever the information which is present in the catalogs, it is given according to the alphabetical arrangement or the list. For example, there are number of the plant species. The names of those plants begins with the A. It will be given the first, B beginning from B, then C, like that. It is an alphabetical list of a species, so that it will be containing the complete information. Okay, the list of the particular species, so that we can easily identify and it is easy to study. Okay, so this with respect to the the taxonomical categories as well as the taxonomic aids, which is helpful to us to study with respect to the various plants and animal species, so that we can easily understand as well as study about the various species of plants and animals. Okay, so this is with respect to the first chapter, that is nothing but the the living world, the living world. Okay, so if you're having any still doubts, mean you can message me. Okay, so that I will clarify your whatever the doubts you'll be having. And in the next class, I will give you a few questions about the competitive, so then after we will continue with respect to the second chapter. Okay, I hope all of you listening properly, and as well as please note down what are the important points whenever any questions arises, whatever it may be. Okay, with respect to the subject, please ask me. Okay, or send a message so that I can clarify, clear all those doubts, so then only we can move towards the further chapters or the further topics. Okay, so thank you, have a nice day.